Hello, this is Johnny. Welcome back to Ain't Normal Podcast. On this episode, we continue talking with Nick and Liz about mental health issues. The same trigger warning applies as last episode. We use adult language, tell irreverent jokes, share creepy stories, and somewhat recklessly talk about serious mental illnesses and tragic events. To hopefully prevent listener fatigue related to another two-parter, we're going to share some bonus material today. And I plan to fill everyone in on the future direction of the podcast and some other upcoming news. Enjoy the show. This podcast was brought to you by Borzilla Entertainment, LLC. Borzilla, roar. Borzilla, roar.
My Peter has had plenty of ups and downs, but follows till the end.
I want to take some naked pictures of anyone out there that's willing to let me.
Good. I needed a close-up photo of my gooch.
We all try to get along.
What liberals like to refer to as a delicate, snowflake, trans female. Conservatives have a slightly different name for me. It's Kellen.
I have 2 full weeks of my life that I do not remember at all.
Yeah, that ain't normal.
But luckily, I will never stop smoking weed.
And I packed a suitcase.
I will frequently stare at the sky looking for some spaceships.
No matter how much you want to kill me, yeah.
Fuck you and your fucking penis, because I'm tired of being the fucking whore in the story all the time.
I one day went to a local store, and when I pulled up in the parking lot, my anxiety kicked in. It wasn't so much a depression that day, but I've been diagnosed with I think it's called dysthymia, with major depressive disorder and severe anxiety.
Okay.
But anyway, this is before I went to the hospital and before the events that led to that. I pulled up in the parking lot of the store one day, and it was daylight. When I never got out of the car. I could not make myself get out of the car to go in. When I finally left, and I had sat there so long inside my own head, I didn't even realize how long I'd been sitting there.
Oh, wow.
Until I realized it was dark and there were headlights on.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'd been there for probably a couple of hours just inside my head, paralyzed, not being able to get out of my car.
Do you remember what you were thinking about?
Not now, no. The electroconvulsive therapy wiped out a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
But some of it for the better, though, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that too.
Well,
Like,
I mean, sometimes it was, I do recall that sometimes, because that wasn't the only time that happened, that was probably just the worst. It was, why am I doing this? Why am I feeling like this? It wasn't necessarily anything causing it. It was more me arguing with myself, like, why is this so hard? Why can't you do this?
Yeah.
There's nothing, just go in the damn store.
it's like you talk to yourself and say, what is wrong with you? Just get out.
Yeah.
Like, just get up. Why can't you get up? And it's almost
you're
like
still stuck.
you have this opposing thing. And, I was thinking it's interesting.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Yeah. Your brain is pretty small compared to the rest of your body. How can it control everything so well? Like the, of course, physically and all that, but the emotional part and all of that too is,
Well, that's the thing is, it was like, even when I was aware that I was going through those things, it's like I still couldn't fix it. I still couldn't get past it.
I think
that's what makes normal people's anxiety different from people like us. I'm assuming you and I is just what I'm saying.
The resilience.
Is like, even though I'm aware, I can't get past it. There was nothing I could do about it.
I get that situation.
No matter how hard I tried.
Like I'm trying to complete a project where I have to go knock on people's doors and I need to convince people to let me spend a couple hours for site visits for a class I have to finish, and I need to talk to you, and then it's about substance abuse and stuff, so I go, hey, what kind of resources do you know of for substance abuse? And if they say we don't do that, and they show you the door, you're out. Now I've got a list of 40 places I want to go. Just ask them that, and if they let me stick around for a couple hours, observe what they do, and even if they don't know of anything, if they just answer some questions for me, I'll get my 40 or so places checked off, spend a couple hours at each one, and my schoolwork will be done. I'll have another college degree. That and another paper, I'll have another college degree. And out of the 40 places on the list, I could easily do 6 in a day and get 12 hours done of this 60 more I've got to go. And after the first or second person says something like, we don't do that, then I've parked at a place and just not gone in and come home.
Yeah.
Like, this morning I was going to stop by a place and I just didn't. I'm like, yeah, it's raining, because the thought of just going in and talking to somebody, and there's nothing. If I go in and talk to them, what's going to happen? No, the worst thing they're going to do is like, we don't do that, or they'll probably be like, yeah, I'll talk to you. Here, take my name, and you'll get that part done. Mm-hmm. But the idea of doing that some days is just too much.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not like all the time or really intense, but it's like that does happen,
Yeah.
And I think enough people don't talk about it.
Well, for me, up until I committed myself, I mean, that was pretty much me every single day with every aspect of my life.
Yeah,
and work, like I've always excelled in my jobs at work, but because there's a format, there's
structure.
There's structure. There's a format. You know what you're getting into when you go into work every day. There's everything else outside of that.
Right.
But towards the end, before I committed myself, the panic attacks and the anxiety started getting really, really bad at work too.
Yeah.
So I knew I was declining, and then there was the cutting incident for 3 hours on my back porch, and so that's when I decided to commit myself.
Was there a trigger for that, or was it?
I don't recall one. I was numb, and it still looking back on it, thinking back on it, it still just doesn't seem real. It almost feels like a dream. I just sat there. Well, no, to tell you the truth, I wanted to kill myself.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember there being like a trigger that day. I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself, and I chickened out.
Wow.
Because the first cut was long ways down the arm, but it was just a test cut, and it was like, okay, that hurt. So I just but I was still in that bad place, so I just sat there and just shredded my arm.
I'll get there eventually, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
I saw the picture. He posted pictures online.
And the thing was that
Scary.
the reason I committed myself, I mean, I should have done it years and years and years ago, but I knew that had I not committed myself, I mean, basically I was just testing the waters, and I knew that I would do it again, and I knew that eventually I would get used to cutting myself enough that I would just do it.
Our pop culture ruins the idea of mental health, I think, because people make jokes about like cry for help, or that wasn't a real suicide attempt, it was a cry for help. It's like, I mean, I used to hang out with a guy that was one of those guys called people late at night, like, in a dark place, and to the point it became cliche almost, and you just always like, well, he's just that guy trying to drag everybody down, and sure enough, eventually did the suicide with a handgun, and you feel terrible because like it wasn't one of those like how could anybody have known cases. It was holy shit. He literally tried to tell everybody at every moment.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and
people got to just it became normal or something.
Yeah, I think that's another side of it. I mean, and I owned a couple of guns, still do, but prior to that, I mean, I'd been going through my family knew that I'd been going through it long, to a degree. They didn't know how bad. They had no idea how bad.
Right.
But I had already given up my guns to my parents.
That's smart.
I was at least that aware of myself. Mm-hmm. And then after I started cutting myself, we took all the knives out of the house, and then a week later I committed myself. So I,
I don't have anything to cut meat with.
So I mean, yeah, that was funny because it's like I'm a kitchen manager, I'm a cook, and I love to cook at home. And it's like, damn it,
you probably just
hot pockets. It is pizza rolls. They got it from microwaves.
You probably looked around and was like, what can I use?
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Depression, anxiety, and it's funny how the two coexist in people. The main thing is just talk about it. Fine, you don't just spill your guts to everybody. You don't want to, because there's a balance between talking about it and dealing with it, and because you do become a downer to other people.
Dwelling on it.
Well, you're already dwelling on it in your own head,
right?
But I was fortunate enough that I have a phenomenal counselor that I've been going to for 6 years, and it's free.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's been free, so I've been fortunate in that way. And since I got out of the hospital, and since posting what I did to myself on Facebook, I've actually gotten a couple of other people into the same counselor.
Good.
For free. So I'm trying to help other people. I forget. He was going somewhere. I lost my train of thought. Anyway.
I'm glad that worked for you. I'm also glad there's free counseling because
Yeah.
we don't live in that rich area of
it's
the
out
country
there.
where there's a lot of resources for stuff, you know.
Yeah, and I try to. He's pretty booked up. He's retired, and he's a great man. He's helped my sister. He's helped me tremendously. And anytime I can, I try to send somebody his way, but he's pretty booked up. He's retired, and he does it for free as his calling, you know. And he's great.
Well, I'm glad you were, you know, you actually even prodded me along, like, we need to do this. And I'm glad you did that because I was a little hesitant. Like I said, you know, we've got some mutual friends that have had some issues, and then I've got some other friends that have had some issues recently, and I know I don't know. I mean, I didn't know until today how much you'd gone through and everything. But,
I guess what I was trying to say a second ago is that the worst thing you can do if you're dealing with this is keep it to yourself.
Right.
That's the worst thing you can do.
But it's so hard to open.
It is. It is. But I still deal with it. Don't get me wrong. Going to the hospital and you know, I was in there for 3 weeks. I'm on 4 different meds now that helped me a lot. I'm not fixed. You know, it's still there.
Yeah.
But the medication and the journaling and going to counseling, you know, medication's a big one though. Before the hospital, I've never even been the kind of person that likes to take asprin. You know, the thought of taking pills, I didn't do it recreationally. I didn't do it if I had a headache. You know, but yeah, I give the medication a lot of credit. It's you know, every pill bottle I have says may cause drowsiness or will cause drowsiness. Do not operate machinery, and for some reason they all wake me up. They're focusing. I guess I was that bad.
Yeah.
As I said, I take 1 milligram of Xanax 3 times a day, and I'm focused.
that
I'm good.
knocks a lot of people their ass.
I was talking to somebody else the other day, and they're like, "You're on that 3 times a day." They're like, "One of those would kill me, like knock me out for the day." I'm like, "No, it just makes me normal."
That's a lot.
Normal.
Yeah.
There is such a thing.
Well, I mean, the truth is, what I want to do is normalize things that are actually normal that we like to think are not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in talking about it, you know. And it's like you said, you know, they don't. I can't think of the words, but mental illness is not looked at the same way as, like you said, like diabetes. You know, or
sugar.
things, and it should be. It's, you know.
That reminds me, what are they?
I'm not just in a bad mood. Like there's something wrong with me.
It's persistent.
What do you have to be? What do you
It's persistent. It's mood altering. It's life changing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's life limiting. It's life.
I mean, it's terrible.
I've seen Liz's struggle. I've seen her try to finish something on a computer before where it's like, click that box. Just click the box. Just click the box.
Right.
And like all the thought process that has to go into clicking the box is just like,
because
can't click the box because what if?
Because I have this interesting combination with the ADD and the OCD. The ADD makes me want to be like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Okay, I need to think about that too. Oh, I need to do that. And then the OCD is like, no, it drags me back and says, you need to focus on this. But then, so my brain is going, think about that. And it's going, no, back, forth. And I'm just like,
just frozen. Absolutely frozen.
Yeah, so it's almost like analysis paralysis is what I call it. Like, I just...
Nice.
Yeah.
Should trademark that.
Really?
Nice. Analysis paralysis.
Analysis
And it really is. She'll be super analytical.
I like that.
For one reason,
That's really
one night she agonized for how long over the difference between a flat affect and what was it?
I don't remember.
Was it a withdrawn?
Oh yeah. I was like, what's
the difference between a
what's the
flat
difference?
affect and withdrawn? And like this, a lot of people be like, and click.
Right.
But with Liz, it's like a conversation we have to have.
Yeah, and I make sure that I want to be. Oh, it's funny you're writing it down.
Yes, I just wrote in my notepad that I carry now every day because of my brain damage. Analysis paralysis.
I
love it. No, that's great. No, that's great.
It's very.
See, but that's one big thing to me that's been about all of this is I love that you put a name to it because to me that's a big step in it.
Right.
Is being able to identify it and name it. You know, even if you just name it George, as long as you know what it is.
Fucking George is creeping up on me.
Part of the problem and part of the first step is knowing what you're going through. Because you can't take a next step until you recognize what's even for a second what's wrong.
And the part that's hard about that is with everybody having different issues with that, it's almost like you have to like look within and say, okay, what is happening right now with me? Like, you know what I mean? And then if that word works, great. And if it works for others, like, great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I really do want people to talk about it. Like, I want people to talk about it. My cousin, she actually committed suicide.
Yeah.
And she's my age. I think she was 1 year younger than me.
This happened when?
2013,
Okay.
2014. It's one of those.
Okay.
But with no one really saw that. No one really saw that coming. She was going through nursing school too, and she was really busy all the time, and I think there was some family issues going on at the time from what I remember, and it's just, and she shot herself.
Wow.
And that's hard. That's hard because what if I think about the what ifs. Like, what if I could talk to her? What if I could have helped? Or what if I could just what if all day? But
Yeah.
I repressed that feeling of like the what is it? The grieving or this.
I
I
you didn't
repressed
grieve properly for it or go through it.
When I first, because the way I do is I'll say nope, didn't happen, nope. That's how I process things. So I didn't.
So you stayed in denial too long.
Yeah, when I actually said okay, she's gone, is whenever I went to Arkansas and went to her headstone and sat in front of it.
And that was what? That wasn't but like last year?
Yeah.
So 5 years after the fact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard because what if she had gotten help?
Yeah.
You know, like what would be
And I think
different?
it's, and some of it's kind of tricky because, I've known some people who'll say straight out on depression that it's such an impulse when it hits, like especially people who are suicidal, that it's almost like it's the only thing on your mind. It's like it's an obsession itself.
Yes.
That's what you're gonna do, and it's
Yeah.
and that's the scary part about it is because people can be engaged and then still have that creep up on them where it's just almost undeniable, and I think that you can save a lot of people with the daily therapy or letting people know, but then there's also still those outliers that are just today's the day, or
Right.
And I think that's what scares a lot of us. Not, again, it's not something that I have, but it scares me for my loved ones that I know do.
Right.
And anybody that it could possibly catch up on.
Right. And it's just, and sometimes with it being I guess essentially they say it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
Type.
Serotonin and dopamine sometimes can,
And certain parts of the brain too.
Yeah.
Like I know the amygdala is the fear portion of the brain. That'll make you fear things, be afraid, worry, like fight or flight, that kind of thing. That really drives a big part of like anxiety and things like that. What was I talking about? What was I talking about?
You were talking about, it's a physical thing. we were talking about how,
you were worried for your love. Okay. This is something else I really wanted to bring up. The depression, the anxiety, the OCD, the ADD, all of that, it can affect others too. Like, and it can affect, because you might be the one going through it, and think of it, your family or your significant other is a bystander to it, and they don't know really how to help.
They don't understand it.
Right. And so they're worried about you. They're worried, is today going to be that day for her or for him? Or, oh no, she's having anxiety again. I hate seeing her like this, or I hate seeing him like this. And it's the depression not only affects you, it affects those around you and your loved ones. And in my case, I don't know how it is for others, but it's almost, I don't want to talk about my issues a lot, like really, like deep down, big conversation, talk to them about the issues because I don't want to worry them. I don't want them to be worried for me, or they already have enough stress on their plate. They don't need to worry about me too. But then that's counterintuitive.
see how you're, people can read your emotions, and then
right.
Then you're not talking about it, which makes it kind of even more stressful.
Exactly.
So you're in like a positive feedback loop of negativity.
Right, because then you're not, you're suppressing yourself, and you're not getting that help, but you don't want to get that help. So it's almost like.
And every behavior you try to make it better just makes it worse.
Right.
Or possibly add some complication to it.
Right. And that was a lot. That was, it's just.
It's affected every relationship I've ever had.
Right.
I mean,
I'm sure.
in one way or another.
My significant other says that it's a virus. He's like, you need to talk about how it's a virus because it affects me too. He's like, you're sad or you're depressed and we can't go do anything because you just want to lay in bed and sleep, or you aren't going to want to get up and go with me to these places because you're having anxiety, or you've been in the bed too long, or you just can't seem to get up and get moving and get off the couch. And so it affects him too because he needs to live his life. And he would like to take me along, and I would love to go along, but
can't get moving.
I'm stuck. Yeah. I don't know how that is for others.
I can definitely relate. I mean, I'm much better now since getting help, being in the hospital, but I can 100% relate.
Yeah, it's just.
I've been the significant other with depression, and I don't like the way I react to it.
Sometimes it's just because you don't understand what to do.
Yeah, but there's a side of my personality I saw that I don't care for. That side where I'm like yelling like you're fucking making me crazy, and it's like that doesn't paint me in a good light. But I know what happened. You know what I mean? It's like
it's almost like you became overwhelmed with the situation.
But also, I do have a healthy dose of anxiety. It's not like
Well, a certain amount of stress, anxiety is good.
Stress is good. Stress is basically, I think, you're reacting to a stimulus. Mm-hmm. Anxiety is the same reaction without the stimulus. Like,
or the stimulus could be
you're overwhelmed by it or something. Yeah, it's I've had people that couldn't deal with me because of my anxiety, and that I've had somebody recently tell me I've never thought of you as anxious. This is somebody I know pretty well, and like I never thought of you as anxious, and people who knew me similarly as well. Couldn't even stand to be around me because I paced. I used to, when I was in grad school, I would check my alarm clock no less than 15 times a night because I was afraid, I know I'm not getting enough sleep, so I can't possibly miss tomorrow. I've got to get up in 3 hours. So I check the alarm clock and I start to go to sleep. Got my girlfriend laying beside me. I don't even wake up. I just look back up again, check it again, and I don't even realize I'm doing it.
That sounds like OCD.
Yeah, that too. My mom, I'm pretty sure, has got undiagnosed OCD. So
OCD is hard to control.
Yeah, and I've got some compulsions. I had some behaviors as a kid that were, they're things that you see people with OCD. I guess I've kind of trained is it the things you see people do? I guess I've kind of trained myself not to do them. At first it was not to do them in public, and now I don't find myself with certain tics. And you'll see me sometimes.
You're not touching yourself in public anymore? Oh, that finger thing you just did? Dude,
I do that.
Pattern with the fingers?
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah. I used to,
I used to do it all the time.
I don't know if I want to go here, but
go there, man. Go there. That's why we're here.
When I was, do it I guess when I was probably in third grade, this older kid he was a good kid. He wasn't like bullying me or nothing. We're just wrestling stuff on the bus, and I grabbed him around the neck like I'll choke you, and he's like, go ahead, and he knew I was too weak to hurt him, so I was like, yeah. It's like, now you can't breathe. Like, I can breathe, see? And he's laughing. And like at some point, I went home that day, and I was like, you can't breathe when you choke. And like from like there for like the next 20 years, at some point every day, I was like choking myself and breathing, and never talked to anybody about people would see me doing it.
You were masturbating at the same time.
I became that kid. No. Oh boy, I fear that. Like, I could go out.
Let's say it's been a while since we've had any dick jokes in this conversation.
I could go out like
you promised dick jokes.
I did. I could go out like Kung Fu, David Carradine. All right, if there's ever been one person,
were you just feeling guilty about it? Maybe that's why you did it every day.
No, it became a compulsion. It's just something I did. Other people saw me. They made fun of me. They, you know. And I remember at one point my parents, and this is a terrible thing to bring up on here, is that they're like, all right, we got to take you to a psychiatrist or something. And I stopped doing it in public then. But then I probably didn't stop doing it until a few years ago.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, like probably in my 30s.
What?
I mean, it's probably something similar to like people who cut, maybe.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I think it is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, and my dad was like, at first, he's like, it's a weird thing he's doing. To his credit, he didn't make a big deal out of it, you know. But until one day, it was just, you know, and again, I had a lot of anxiety and so a lot of medications for asthma and allergies that some of them were pretty powerful that affected my moods, and then, you know, I was the kid that cried a lot at school, and that didn't. That when you're already the kid that's the best student in the class, that doesn't go over well with your peers, and you know, so that now you're the kid that chokes yourself, cries, and makes the best grades. So yeah, it wasn't fun.
I'm sorry to be laughing.
No,
I feel bad. I feel your pain, but
I want people to laugh because people don't talk about this. People are like, oh, you can't make jokes about suicide around depressed people. Oh, fuck that, you know?
yeah, no. And especially me now that I got the help and everything, it's like it works. Somebody might say something, and some people at work know what I've been through. They know that I was in the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, Nick, I'm sorry if that offended you." I'm like, "No, man, come on, keep the jokes coming." I'm like, I got the help I needed. No, it needs to be talked about. That's part of the problem is people don't talk about it.
Do you remember the roast of Nick Whitten?
Oh my gosh!
All right, so they did a roast for Nick Whitten.
It was
was the bar you?
I think it was just the Kevin Woods video hour. That thing was long.
Oh well, it was going to be longer. If I had,
by the time I finally got up there to roast everybody else was drunk and not paying attention anymore.
I almost got away
because I'm not a comedian.
Get out of jail free card. Because Kevin was like, "Hey man, we're roasting Nick. I want you to be part of this video. Just fucking, we'll film it. You walk out like a stage. You just roast everybody there. You walk off. You're not even going to be at the appearance. And nobody knows you're going to be there. Nobody has anything prepared for you. Just fire on everybody and walk off." So I was going to do this, but I had a visitor that weekend, and getting laid is far more important than making dick jokes about Nick.
Gotta get it in.
Oh, thanks a lot, man.
It had been a while, and she was really hot to be fair.
Fair enough. By the time I got up on the stage, it was my turn to roast everybody else. Everybody there was drunk and not paying attention anymore, which was probably for the best.
So I just want to say I'm very glad I didn't participate in that. That was my first thought when I saw the pictures online that he'd cut himself. Man, I'm glad I didn't say shit about him in public.
Oh no, there were still some things said. I don't remember the things that were said, but I remember some of the emotions while I was up there being roasted.
I've actually gone after Moo for a few of the ones.
Some of it was like, if they only knew.
Oh,
if they only knew.
It's like, this is true and it hurts me.
Yeah, a little bit, but I like it. It's all in good fun, Nick. It's all in good fun. They're your friends. They're your friends.
I don't know how well I'd take it.
Fuck these guys, but they're your friends.
Yeah. How do you think in pop culture? I was going to get to this sooner. We had a better thing on deck. You see these things like have you done Bandersnatch? Have y'all seen that on Netflix?
What's that?
Oh, Bandersnatch, like you choose your own story, like yeah.
Have you gone through it?
I've done it once.
Okay,
and it was pretty cool.
It is cool. It's awesome. But like, there's some reinforcement of stereotypes. Like
she's a little lost here. You gotta explain it.
It is a
like the books where you choose your own
ending, choose your own path.
Like a video game, you can choose your.
But it's a movie, or it's a
books
movie.
where you get to end of a chapter or whatever. And it's
if you say yes, turn to page 80. If you say no, turn to page 85.
Yeah,
like that.
Okay.
One of those. Well, it's a TV show that does the same thing.
What?
Or it gets to a certain point in the show, and you can click. Like the first option, I think, is a box of cereal.
Yeah. Do you want sugar frosted flakes, or do you want just regular flakes?
Sugar.
Yeah, of course. That's what I take the sugar.
You know, and depending on which one you choose, that's the direction the story goes.
So
I want to watch it again to see if it changes.
Yeah, I gotta watch it with bland flakes because I chose I chose the worst possible option. The only thing I did do is when he's supposed to take his psych meds, I took the psych meds. Right.
I need to watch it again. I don't remember too much of it.
But and I'm not going to try to spoil too much. There's 5 fucking endings. You're going to find your own ending.
How much of this are we going to have to edit out because of copyright?
No, it's just that it kind of reinforces the stereotype that people who take their psych meds aren't as creative. And I think that's It's a lot of people
that
didn't do their
could be
best
true,
work
yes.
on a lot of people didn't do their best work when they were manic. They didn't do their best work when they were on heroin. They did their best work when they were hungry. And I think in contrast to that, if you've never seen the movie Frank, have you ever seen that movie? Mm-mm. He's got a big paper mache head. No. He wears it everywhere, and he's a singer.
No.
You should see it because it's a good movie. At some point, he's at South by Southwest in Austin and has a freak out. He's got mental illness issues. This keyboard player joins a band because he knows the lead singer is brilliant, and their keyboard player got so frustrated dealing with this brilliant but mentally ill singer that he just like quit and I think walked out into the ocean to drown himself or something. It's like it starts like that, and this keyboard player's like, well, I'm going to get in on this because I'm going to learn this guy's struggle, and I'm going to struggle, and I'm going to have some despair, and then I'll be a better artist. And I'll spoil this one because you probably haven't seen it, and I think it does deliver a good message. Is at some point Frank freaks out, runs off, and the keyboard player's looking for him, and he's the one that's kind of pushed him a little bit, and then he goes off the deep end. So this keyboard player's in with Frank's parents, and he's like, he's so brilliant, like, and they start showing him stuff from before he started having or displaying issues, before he started wearing the paper mache head, before he kind of started going down this path. Like, he might have been mentally ill, but it hadn't been expressed itself. And they're like, no, he's always been brilliant. The mental illness doesn't help him create. It's only limited him, And that may not be true for everybody, but it's also not true that it kills your creativity to,
Mental illness?
Yeah. No, not mental illness. Taking medication doesn't kill everybody's creativity either. Now, some people it might. That's the way it is in almost everything. Well, I don't want to take my. There's this constant trope in movies and TV. I don't want to take my medicine because then I don't feel like I'm as good an artist or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought Frank is one of those that doesn't like. It's
I think some of that is you're so used to being in that dark place, that dark uncontrollable place that, like, for me, one thing that I've had to adjust to is feeling better.
Yeah.
Feeling better feels weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Not constantly being in that dark place, not constantly wanting to cry, not being, past. I have the best relationship with my dad that I've probably ever had.
Well, that's good.
On my days off over the past month, I've things that I've been meaning to do for the past 6 years. Fixing things around the house, electrical, plumbing. Throwing things out of my house that I've had no use for. I've actually, my days off, I used to sleep all day, or I'd sleep half the day, then go to the bar and drink the rest of the day. Now, I'm actually getting things done.
Motivated.
Working around the house. I get up early on my days off, getting things done. That's weird. And don't get me wrong, it's great. It's great. It's a welcome change. But it's like, why did I all these things? Why did it take me so long to get my shit together? And
new.
Yeah, but like I said, even that, getting things done and being, I'm literally starting my life over again in a lot of ways. Yeah. And, it feels weird.
Yeah, I think Mumu had the same
it's good. And I have to recognize that these are positive things. Right. Yeah. But when you're in that deep, dark place for so long, being better it's an adjustment.
You can finally put down the shovel. You don't have to worry about
it. It's its own monster. It really is.
Mumu said some of the similar things about losing weight. He's like, I'm 300 pounds. It's like I haven't been 300 pounds in years. I was close to 5, and now that I'm 300, I'm dealing with 300-pound shit again. It's like there's a new normal. It's like, well, do you feel like you have more energy? And he's like, well, yeah, no, I've got more energy, but now I'm doing more stuff, so now I'm just as tired as always. Yeah, but I'm a lot more mobile.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the memory loss from the shock therapy. It's like there's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
So short-term memory may never come back, but on the other hand, I'm not wanting to kill myself every day.
Was the journal for memory loss, or was there some other reason they told you to?
The journal was after the day I cut myself. I didn't want to stay with my family, but nobody wanted me to stay by myself. So I went to Cumming, Georgia, where my brother lives, and stayed with him for a few days. And just because I knew I needed to commit myself, I knew that things had gotten. It was that time. But I just needed to get myself to a place where I wasn't committing myself because everybody else wanted me to or because the doctor was telling me to. I had to get to a place where
you actually wanted to.
I needed to go to a safe place, which was my brother and his wife. At the time, that's what I felt most comfortable with. And Yeah, I had to get into a I hate using this word, safe space.
There's nothing wrong with that
I had to
space.
find me a safe space where I could mentally
wrong with
prepare
safe
myself. And no, the journal was a gift from my sister-in-law, Rachel, and I started writing in it before I even went into the hospital, and wrote it in while I was in the hospital, and yeah, journaling's. It helps a lot to get out, if you can't find somebody to talk to put it on paper helps. And also to be able to look back and to be able to see the progress in writing.
Yeah.
See the emotions you were going through and realize, holy shit, I can't believe I was going through that.
Right.
Like, I haven't felt that in so long. Hey, pat on the back, I'm doing better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits to journaling, and I'd recommend that to anybody. If you can't afford counseling, journal.
Okay. What about
It's a great place to start. I mean, like I said, nobody can see it, but I've got mine here with me now. So
Yeah. There was a thing I was reading. Every morning, related to journaling, every morning when you wake up, write down at least 3 things that you're grateful for right in the morning. It could be anything. And then they say over time, you will start to have like a little bit more positive of an outlook because you're thinking of things right when you wake up. You're not thinking of like, oh God, I gotta do this. Oh shoot, I gotta, like you just immediately write down, I am grateful for such and such.
train yourself to start off the day on a positive note.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to do that.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to, but it's just kind of hard.
I need to remember that. That's I'm writing that in my little notebook
Really?
here. Yes.
Good advice.
Yes.
All right.
Analysis paralysis and what was it?
Three grateful things. Write them down every
3 things
morning.
I'm grateful for.
Every morning, write them down.
I'm writing it down.
And over time, you could write more if you want. I think they said you could write more if you want. But it could be anything. It could be I'm grateful for this piece of paper. I mean,
Grateful that I woke up.
Like I'll do that.
I'm grateful I didn't wet the bed again.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't torture animals. It's what's the triangle of serial killer traits? The bedwetting as a kid, and
Really?
and
I don't know.
torturing animals. I don't know if it's true or not. It's one of those things. That
I know what you're talking
gets
about, but I can't name
perpetuated.
them.
So what? How long did you say you were in the hospital?
3 weeks. Roughly 3 weeks, maybe a little, give or take a day or 2.
Do you remember kind of what the process was once you got in there?
There's a lot of classes. The Carolina Center is the only one I think left in the state that allows smoke breaks. So that was one of the reasons I went there.
Priorities. That's what.
Well, also because it was, it's like an hour away, something like that.
Yeah, it's not right here.
And I felt like I needed to be on my own, and I have visitors all the time.
Yeah.
But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
What
It
was
was
the process?
kind of like what the process. What did you do? Week
process-
1, week 2, week 3.
So
day
it was
one?
pretty much the same thing. It was very, very formatted. It's scheduled during the day. I don't remember exactly I've probably got the schedule somewhere in a home in a folder. I don't think I have it in here. I might, but a very structured day. Everything's at the same time every day. And some of the classes were things like finding healthy habits, finding. Kind of like writing what I just wrote down about the 3 things you're grateful for.
Cool.
Just developing more positive habits, goals, things like that. Like really,
Did they?
it's kind of blurry right now to tell you the truth.
Did
Because
they
like I
teach
said,
meditation there?
they did. That's right. Yeah, they did. They did. It wasn't. They did. I was there for 3 weeks, and I remember one class on meditation, and then they just played some music. It was like in their gymnasium.
Yeah.
Everybody had pads that you're laying on, and
It's hard.
and I
People
don't
act
think it was
like-
legit meditation. I mean, it was their version
guided.
of it. Kinda, yeah, kinda.
Sam Harris has a good on his. It used to be the Waking Up podcast. Now he changed the name of it, so I can't even say what it was. But it's like 9 minutes. I've not made it through without falling asleep. But either way, I feel like I win. It's
Yeah.
like I'm more rested now. It's hard. It's hard. Like I really could only go like a few minutes at a time because it's that idea of like acknowledge something and then let it go. It's so odd to me. It's like no, if I got an itch on I want to scratch. Acknowledge the itch and let it go.
It's really funny though. It's really funny though. You asked me about my experience at the Carolina Center, and I'm really having a hard time thinking about some of the classes. I mean, until you mentioned the meditation thing, I'd forgotten all about that. It's really weird. Like it's kind of a blur to me. I don't know why. Yeah,
I was
That's
thinking
weird.
it would be this big event, like maybe the first day you got the intake survey, and the next day you're meeting other people, and like this, that, and the other. And like,
Well, I mean, you had your group sessions. The more we're talking, some of it's coming back. You had your group sessions where they'd have like a certain topic, and everybody'd go around the room, one person at a time, and they'd talk about whatever the topic was.
Yeah.
Things like that. That was pretty regular. Very little one-on-one time with the counselor. It was mostly group things.
Yeah.
And the psychiatrist you'd see maybe every other, I don't think it was daily, maybe every other day. But it was an experience because every once in a while someone would lose their shit or get transferred to another wing. It was. I mean,
everybody's all on different levels.
I think I wrote down a lot in my journal. I could probably write a pretty good story about the experience, the 3-week experience there.
I'm sure there's people from all different ends of I remember I went to at a different hospital. I went to music therapy one time, and on the mental health floor, and they played Avril Lavigne's "Complicated," and it literally was everybody. And I mean, I think it was therapeutic. I think it helped. It's going to sound like I'm making fun of it, but they'd go around, each person would be like, well, my sister won't bring me my deodorant I asked for, and doesn't understand that mental illness is a real thing, and I'm not just doing this just to get attention, and well, that's complicated. And then the next person would go and have a very similar end with and that's complicated. And then they got this one guy, and he clearly wasn't bought in, and he's like, man, I don't know, all these people talking about their fucking problems, I don't know how this helps, man.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, side note, for anybody that's considering committing themselves out there, don't take anything that really means anything to you, especially if it has, like, laces or anything like that. Like or belts. I had 2 of my favorite pair of shorts that apparently the drawstring was sewn in to them.
Yeah.
They cut them out.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They took my shoelaces. They cut out the strings on anything, any clothing. They watched me shave. The one time I shaved while I was there, and I had to time that. I was like, please, can I shave now? And they're like, nope, we've got to wait till tomorrow till we have somebody that can watch you. And I'm standing there, nurse right behind me, watching me shave the whole time. So
privacy is
a little weird.
thing.
No, there's no privacy. You got a roommate.
Everything's sharp.
It was weird because how often my roommates changed.
Yeah, I imagine
It amazed me, considering that I was there for 3 weeks. I probably had 4 different roommates.
Yeah. And I guess people are there for differing lengths of time, too.
Yeah.
Somebody might be at the end of their term. But you would think, like, hey, put us both there. We're on the same schedule.
When you went in there, did you have, did you know that you were going to be there for the 3 weeks? Like, did they tell you at the beginning,
No,
you're going to be there this long?
Nope, I had no idea.
So you just kind of went in going, okay, I hope I get out by Christmas, or something like that.
Yeah, I had. Well, I thought maybe a week.
Maybe a week.
And after a few days, and after about 3 days, I had a pretty good breakdown in one of the classes where I left the group, crawled into a corner, and I'm just bawling my eyes out. Still don't know why. It was just, I guess it was a panic attack, whatever.
Right.
And as soon as my little spell was over with, I'm like, oh, that just bought me some more time in here. and sure enough,
and it did.
Well, because like the day prior to that, it said, I had asked one of the nurses, and it said maybe a day or 2 later, they always have a pending release date, that they had in mind.
Proposed.
Well, after that episode, it was like a week more. I was like, oh, come on.
No, but you were voluntary, right? So
yeah, I was voluntary.
So the whole time you could have checked. Well, I guess you could have
I can't
checked
remember how that
out.
works. I think once you're in, it's kind of their discretion, I think.
And it's against, if you go against medical advice and all the payment,
I can't really
everything, it's
remember.
kind of fucked up.
Did you see people leave when they weren't supposed to? Like, just say, I'm done with this? and walk out?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2. 1 or 2 left. One guy was only there for a day, and I was like, what happened with so-and-so? Oh, he left.
I wonder if they let that person, back, because if they were to leave and they were to come back a few days later, would they accept them again?
Well, in this day and age, it probably just depends on his insurance.
Oh, Lord.
Sad, but I really don't know, though. I don't know. But yeah, there were a couple that were voluntary and left, and I wanted to leave so bad. Good. After a certain amount of time, I wanted to leave, and it's like, Nick, you're here, just do it. Do the work.
You didn't. That's good.
So...
Okay, that does it for the standard portion of the episode. Now we're going to send it into what we call extra innings. We're going to be trying to increase our listenership this year. As part of that, I was just interviewed by Neil Lopez for the upcoming Business in Progress podcast. We will keep you posted on our Facebook and Twitter regarding the release date for that episode. We have some other promotional ideas to grow the listenership over the coming months. Once we have enough recurring downloads to justify getting a Patreon account and asking our listeners to support us monetarily, we're going to start providing some bonus material. We've been holding back some bonus material from each episode. Extra Innings is not necessarily consistent with the topic of the episode, but it's just the host and guests continuing to have interesting conversations. During the Extra Innings for the previous episode, Nick spoke briefly about his American Idol experience and the times he has seen UFOs and been visited by aliens. Coming up, we will discuss some other crazy stories. I'll say the difference between me and like, if I saw a light shoot across the sky and then shoot up and then, like, explode, I would be like, what the fuck was that? And I don't know that I would make any conclusions. That's the only difference. And I'll tell you, I've had.
I'm not saying it was aliens. I'm just saying I've seen some things, man.
No. That's why I want to go out too, because I hear this kind of shit like out in the desert. You see crazy shit like that all the time. Like especially if you get near that area of Nevada where Area 51 is allegedly, which you totally like. They even have parts of it on like fucking Google.
I used to wake up in my closet a lot as a kid.
You did?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Didn't know how you got there.
No gay jokes. But yeah, I would wake up in the fetal position in my closet a lot as a kid. Yeah, it was weird.
I had this weird thing when I was a kid. I would like bury my face in my pillow. Just me. Like I had like this weird thing with my stuffed animals. I'd lay them all out. Again, probably compulsive behavior, like or maybe even OCD type behavior. But I would like stuff my face in my pillow, and I felt like I was flying with my stuffed animals. It was some weird like almost transcendental thing.
Nice.
I have no idea. Like, I can't recreate it now. I don't know if it was just super imagination or like, what it was, I hear people talk about, like, transcendentally meditating and like...
You have to focus with your third eye.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And again, I'm a pure skeptic. Like, now I can tell you a couple of weird experiences I had that weren't necessarily aliens, but some people might ascribe to ghosts.
I believe in ghosts, too.
I do, too.
I don't doubt that you do.
Have you seen any ghosts?
No.
I have. We've lived in a couple of haunted houses.
Nice.
We lived in one house that had a ghost in it, but I never saw her. My mom saw her, and my mom's boyfriend at the time saw him. Tell me the stories.
So many stories.
Here, I'll give you one story.
Okay.
I'll give you two, but I'll start with one.
I want to hear the ghost stories.
When I'm like 14, right before I started driving, they'd closed down this bridge in Santee that crosses Lake Marion, and but they had a trash dump down there. Back then, you didn't have to go into a gated fucking, place to dump your trash. Everybody just like fucking sofa goes in this green thing, like. So they had one of those down by the old bridge in Santee that was shut down.
A sofa?
And, no, a giant green container for trash, a dumpster.
I got you.
So me and my mom, we were going down there, and she's driving, and nobody else on the road. She's got her brights on. She's probably going about 45. In my mind, we come up on this old truck with lights on, but they're tiny little, like, look like they're about to burn out tail lights. And I'm like, stop, truck! She was running with her low beams, and like she stops and slams on brakes, so she hits her high beams, and there's nothing. We didn't see anything scurry off into the distance. We didn't see anything like no cloud of smoke and poof disappear. It
was an old truck.
Yeah, and I mean probably it would have been a truck from the 70s or late 60s, and is what I saw. What she also saw. We both see this thing, and I'm like, stop, and she's like, shoot, she's like slamming on brakes. I'm like, where'd it go? I thought we were going to hit it, and she hits her high beams, and there's just nothing there. And, I mean, when she hit the high beams, you could see almost to the bridge on this road we're on, and, like, it's just another mile of, nothing there. It couldn't have gotten away that quick. I mean, obviously, it was only going like 20. It could,
Yeah.
probably wasn't even, and it looked like an old, like, Dodge pickup or something, and I was like...
You don't remember it flipping away or anything?
No, it just like I said, she slammed on brakes. My head comes down, my head comes back up, and it's not there. Like same thing with her. She's like slams the brakes, head dip, and it's not there. I'm like, where'd it go? She's like, I don't know. It wasn't like where'd what go? Because I'm the one that yelled stop. I thought I was like, where'd it go? She's like, I don't know. I thought we were about to hit a truck. I'm like, yeah, I know. Where'd it go? And nothing. And I mean, we drove to it was a dead end road. There's Ballard's Landing and there's the bridge, and we drove all around there, and nothing was on this road. Now there's some driveways there, but like this thing
You would have seen
wasn't
it turn.
moving. Yeah, nothing.
You would've seen
Like
it
just
park.
absolutely nothing. That's
Yeah.
not the creepy one. That one was just weird.
Yeah. Wow.
The creepy one was my best friend. Still one of my best friends to this day. His dad died our senior year of high school, and I was over at my girlfriend's house, and I was just in a funk about like I can't imagine my best friend sitting at home without his dad on Christmas, right? It's Christmas night. I drive over to his house. He's not there. He's off seeing his girlfriend. So I sit there with his mom for a while and my girlfriend, and she's doing those friends' moms asking girlfriend questions, and until like 11 o'clock at night, my buddy shows up and he walks in the house. He's like, I'm like, man, like 10 minutes later, I'm like, we got to go. He's like, no, man, you just got here. I'm like, no, fool, you just got here. I've been here talking to your mom for 3 hours, But what you got?
Oh, sorry, just something you just said made me think about it. Like with aliens,
Cool.
with missing time.
Oh, yeah.
I've experienced that.
Time dilation and missing.
I lost I used to own my own restaurant,
Yeah.
and when we closed down, I left at the same time I always do, and then drove to the same bar that I went to almost all the time, which is about a 10-minute drive.
Right.
Went straight from my restaurant to that bar. 2 hours went missing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see anything that night. But when I got there, they're like, yeah, we're closing, dude. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what time is it? And they tell me, I'm like, and I don't even think I said anything to them, but I'm like, I just left work. What happened? But yeah, 2 hours gone.
See, I wonder, was that before or after you saw the gray? The gray
That
alien?
was before.
Before?
Wow. That was the first time the
you
Grays
saw
saw him.
Probably.
And then I drank at that bar, and man, cheap whiskey sure makes my butthole hurt.
It burns.
So anyway, my friend comes home. He's like, you just got here. I'm like, no, you just got here. And we go to stand up, and the doorbell rings. Perfectly normal occurrence, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, what was that? I'm like, your front doorbell. He's like, no, we don't have a front doorbell. I'm like, that was your front doorbell ringing. He's like, no, we don't. He's like, dude, he's like, no, look, it's like my dad said for like we moved in this house 10 years ago. My dad every year like, I'm gonna fix that doorbell. And he goes over and just starts jamming the thing, no noise. I'm like, well, that was fucking weird. My girlfriend's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
No, stay and figure out if it does it again.
No, that was it. He still claims he never knew what that was.
I wonder if it was his dad.
Well, that was the implication by girlfriend wanting to leave because she's
He's like, oh, it doesn't ring a bell.
again, just lost his dad. It's Christmas, a time when families are supposed to be together, and the one thing that rings is the one thing his dad always promised he would fix. But
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he wanted the doorbell to be fixed for Christmas for him. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
electrical short, just one day, just fired. Just happened to be Christmas Day.
Well, I don't know. For it to be like ding dong, like I mean, that's
No, it
pretty.
was absolutely a doorbell.
That's not a short. It's pretty.
All right, what's your alien story?
No one wanted to hear his ghost story.
Okay, ghost story.
He had two ghost stories, or one. You had to.
Well, there was one time waking up to again in bed, but this is with a girlfriend before I got married, with two figures, not aliens, people, standing on her side of the bed, just staring at us, and again, I just remember that's about it. I mean, I know it happened. It wasn't like a sleep paralysis thing or some other things they use to
sleep paralysis.
discredit it.
Yeah.
It was real. I know what I saw.
What'd they look like?
About 30 seconds. One was white, one was black. The white person, I think, they were both male, I believe. And all I really remember was the white person was short, the tall person was black, and they were just standing there staring at us, in kind of, like not suits, but old timey type clothes. I wouldn't know what era, but yeah, that was creepy.
They didn't have clipboards or anything.
No, they didn't have clipboards. No.
Because they'd be like,
my mom didn't hurt the next day.
Oh, like that Cartman gets an anal
Cartman
probe.
with the big satellite out of his butthole.
And the rerun.
That's the first episode.
That was the first episode, yeah.
They did that, and then they did a rerun episode where they ran the same one when they got all digital, except for like, we've done this, you know? That was when they had the giant taco
That's hilarious.
that poops ice cream.
Ah, yes.
Like you're doing the close encounter
Yes.
thing.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you something. The other day, I'm sure I have it on video right now.
Oh, Lord.
But there was the trash can at Devin's parents' house.
Yeah.
The trash can, it was across the street. Anyways, their security camera got it. Like, you know how the view is down the driveway and everything. And there was no wind, there was no nothing going on. And he sent it to us, like, look at this. So the trash can lid, with like, you know, for pickup, like it was closed. And then there's no wind, nothing going on. And then the lid just goes and opens. Nobody's there. Nothing's going on. It's not on a hill. It's just a flat trash can.
Maybe wind?
No wind.
Pressure. Things
No.
just jammed on there.
I don't know.
Swamp gas.
Swamp, yeah. That's always those ghosts. Have you ever had one of those town ghost stories where I've seen this, the Jacksonboro light? Have you heard of that?
What's that?
In the town, or outside of the town of Jacksonboro, there's this little road with a church at the end of it, and the thing to do, like, there was not shit to do in the low country of South Carolina growing up. So one night we all just bought like 2 cases of beer and drove down to Jacksonboro and went down this road. You know, just getting tanked in the backseat of a car with, we had a responsible driver, who's like 10 years older than us. But, he's like, I love ghost stories. And he just drags us all down there and we're drinking, like, you know, and we go run up to the church door, knock on the church door because that's part of the tradition. Supposedly this guy's daughter was murdered or something, and he's walking down the road looking for her with a lantern. It's like every other, like, hovering light story. So I'm sitting there. I've been drinking since we started this trip, and it's an hour drive from where we are. And we get there, and my best friend from college, she's like, "There it is." I'm like, "I don't see nothing." Wait, and there's this like, I mean, it looks like a star in the middle of the road. It's just this like light that comes up, a little orb, and it changed a couple of colors. About 20 seconds later, it was gone, and that's all we saw that night. She went back later with somebody else, said she saw it get really close to the car. I've heard people that got in the car with them, and they freaked the fuck out, and some people said they saw legs when it got close. Like, all I know is, like, but we sat there, and we're like, it's close to midnight, like you're supposed to do it right at midnight or whatever. And about midnight, we're all focused looking at this thing, and somebody rides by a car. In a car with the windows up. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid assholes. They probably have people on that road all the time doing this.
Wow.
But that was my Jacksonboro Light story.
I wonder if that's like a certain type of hell for that spirit. Like
Swamp gas. Methane from the swamps.
No.
It could be.
Well, did it look circular like an orb?
It was that, yeah, it was like circular, and it changed colors. It's like if you stare at the sun too long, you know, you're not supposed to, and it changes all these colors. And then,
Yeah.
you know, it was kind of like that, but it was in the middle of the road at midnight in shit town, South Carolina.
Where is this again?
Jacksonboro, it's near Walterboro.
2 places I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're
South
not
Carolina?
from the Low Country. It's near the coast.
Okay.
Like going south towards Georgia.
I know where Somerville is. I know where
It's in that area, but
Somerville,
like
Charleston, Georgetown.
yeah,
It's around there.
It's I would say further south than Somerville and Charleston.
Okay.
And then not quite as close to the coast.
Okay.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
out there where like Estill is another one.
Sounds
of those
like I
towns
need to
out
make a
there.
trip.
Yeah,
That needs to be my
Google
next
Jacksonboro.
vacation. Go in there and the
Jacksonboro.
vortex, and that needs to be my next vacation.
Get your vortex. I'm still afraid to lose this.
I mean, you've seen my shaggin' wagon. You've seen my 95 Chevy conversion van. I'm ready for a road trip.
That's right. I am getting there too. I need to go to like southern Arizona or somewhere to the desert.
There is a cave that I want to visit. Okay,
Where?
there's a cave. It's in Dunbar, Tennessee. Do you know of it? Dunbar, Tennessee.
Don't.
It's the Indians. I forgot.
It's not the one they do the bluegrass
Sounds
in, is
familiar.
The what?
it? They got a bluegrass underground or something.
I don't
Sorry.
know. I don't know. It's one of the biggest caves, and it's ancient. Right now, it's being cleaned because of white nose sickness for the bats.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
same reason you can't wear the same pair of shoes in any of the caves around here, and you can't go to see the Bat Cave in Hendersonville anymore.
White nose? What is it with Indians and whites? It always comes up.
White people killed a lot of them.
I want
So
to
did Mormons.
What
go-
about smallpox?
Then they won't let
Specifically.
you have cameras in this cave, and it's like the ancient drawings, and it talks about like the comet coming to Earth, bringing. I can't remember if it was like us or God or
Pangenesis.
something like that, and they have
Seed of
these
us.
ancient drawings all throughout this cave, and what it is it's supposed to be the gateway to their hell.
Huh.
So that's interesting. But a little bit down, there's like this plateau thing, and you're supposed to be able to get on the plateau, and you can communicate with the heavens better because they believe in the upper level, the lower level, and the middle level.
I'm down. I'm always.
That
up
sounds
to
like
ski looking.
Mormons. The 3 levels of the three degrees of glory:
Yeah.
terrestrial, telestial, and celestial.
Yeah, you get your own planet.
You can become a god.
You can become a god.
In the Mormon faith, the goal is to become a god.
And get your own planet. But that's weird because if
I
you
wouldn't
get your
wanna
own
be
planet
by
and your mom
myself.
gets your own planet, then you're not there with your mom
I
or
can't
your
even take
spouse.
care of my own house.
Yeah, I know. I'm clearly a hoarder. Got dust everywhere. All right, I'd be remiss if not asking, what was the most fun thing about being on American Idol? Or was there anything fun about being on American Idol?
For me personally, the most memorable thing about American Idol was one. Okay, come on. Grew up in the 80s and 90s. Huge Paula Abdul fan.
Of course.
You know, I got to hug Paula Abdul.
Oh, cool.
You know, I got her makeup on my shirt, and somehow one of my roommates at the time lost my shirt because I swear I was going to hold on to it forever. Other than that, it was the flight out there, flying over the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah. It looks like Mars. or
I've
something.
never been to the Grand Canyon, but flying over it, it was beautiful. And it is. It's like seeing. It's like it's a different world.
Yeah, first time
it
I
was
flew
crazy.
that path from I don't know if it was.
Other than hugging
California.
Paul Abdul, the thing I remember most is the Grand Canyon from there.
Do you love me? Do you love me, baby? She did a rap song with a cat, a cartoon cat.
A cartoon
Cool
cat.
cat.
Cool cat.
That's Cool Cat.
He's
What?
MC scattered all the raps.
What? That's cool.
You'll have to Google the 80s and early 90s.
All right.
All right. Anything else you want to say, Liz?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, there's
Stay strange and keep it real.
there's so many things that we could talk about still.
We can always have another
I was
episode.
saying we can come back, can't we?
Yeah, we can always
Yeah.
have another
I
episode.
actually really like doing this.
Yeah,
I do too.
It's fun, and I definitely, like I said, I'd like to get more involved in this once I get done with,
School.
my
Excuse.
15th college degree. I mean, my 5th college degree, and once I get done with that, I'll put more effort into planning and trying to set up something a little more regular, like a better schedule, a little more background into these things. But I really like to give people an opportunity and hope that they're happy with it. So if you're happy with what we've talked about, we can come back another day and discuss a different topic. Or,
Can people comment?
yeah.
Maybe you could do a thing where like you do like a poll, like you could.
Oh, he does polls all the time.
Yeah.
I do. I work the poll sometimes.
I was doing more with the dig jokes you
I
promised.
know you were. I was trying to deflect from your sodomy joke. I'm on defense here. He was making a joke about me being sodomized by a pole.
Okay.
Probably a phallic one.
A phallic one.
Yes, it was a joke about me being sodomized by a penis.
Oh.
Now she gets it.
He takes polls all the time.
Oh. Okay. I got you.
All right, that's it for this episode of Ain't Normal Podcast. I'd like to thank Nick and Liz again for joining us. Thanks to Analog Heart for the intro and outro music. Be on the lookout for the upcoming Business in Progress podcast with Neil Lopez. Follow us on Facebook at Ain't Normal Podcast and on Twitter at @NormalAin't. Email us at ain'tnormalpodcast@gmail.com. There are no apostrophes needed for any of those. Give us a 5-star rating or review on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or whatever platform you use to listen. Seriously, give us a fucking 5-star rating. There are like dozens of regular listeners now and about 6 ratings. 5 stars will help us grow.
I never realized before, but everything that I do is carefully calculated just for you. I've shied away from bangs and I've taken off all of my favorite rings, specifically 'cause I know that you're not into those things. I can't remember what I like. You got to me throughout my life. These thoughts I'm thinking, baby, aren't even mine. This torch, it burns for me this time. It ain't easy to reclaim what you've never had. Oh, but I'm discovering the journey isn't so bad.
A Normal Podcast is brought to you by Warzilla Entertainment LLC for entertainment purposes only. All rights reserved. The music in this episode was performed by Analog Heart and used with permission. Any opinions or content related to the podcast do not constitute any kind of professional advice or endorsement. If you have any concerns regarding mental health, please seek counseling or other professional help. A Normal Podcast is not responsible for the actions of its listeners. We're barely holding our own shit together. Why would you trust us to determine what actions you should take?
My phone wallet keys are in my pants.
That was on his new one, right? Call me a sucker for the classics, but I still prefer at a medium pace.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Do you love me? Do you love me?